Hi, I'm Charles, and you're watching The State of the Republic. We begin this week with more news on the ongoing fallout from the shooting in Parkland, Florida. Survivors of the Parkland shooting have continued pushing for gun control measures in the wake of the tragedy. Republican politicians have predictably once again dug in their heels and refused to take any action that the NRA doesn't support, with Republicans voting down gun control measures while voting for giving every teacher a gun. The Republican position of arming everyone is remarkably stupid, even by their standards, as was proven recently with a shooting by an armed teacher at a school in Dalton, Georgia. Nobody was shot, as the teacher fired out a window after barricading himself inside a classroom, but it further proves the stupidity of trying to arm everyone. Corporate America, by contrast, is actually taking some action, surprisingly. Kroger, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Walmart have all announced changes to their sales policy regarding firearms, and many companies are eliminating deals and promotions they had with the NRA. One company that is not, however, is FedEx, largely due to their lucrative shipping deal with the NRA and gun manufacturers. Delta recently cut a discount deal that they had with the NRA, and in retaliation, Republicans in the state of Georgia voted down a fuel tax exemption the company had wanted, a move that Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Casey Cagle, directly tied to Delta no longer offering the NRA a discount. Cagle is currently running for governor of Georgia, and the main Democratic opponent is Stacey Abrams. If you can, support Abrams' campaign for governor. In West Virginia, teachers in all of the state's 55 counties have been on strike for a week, shutting down public schools in the entire state, protesting low pay and benefits. Before they went on strike, teachers made sure that their low-income students, who are dependent on federal school lunch programs, had food to take home with them while the schools were closed, and federal lunches were not available. West Virginia is 48th in the nation on teacher pay, and its economic fortunes are largely tied to the dying coal industry. The state's Republican governor and state house approved a 5% pay increase for teachers that was negotiated with union leaders, while the state Senate attempted to force a 4% pay increase instead. State Senate Republicans, in their infinite incompetence, accidentally managed to approve the planned 5% increase, and then spent the rest of their time trying successfully rolling back the 5% increase in the state Senate. Teachers have indicated that they will continue to remain on strike until the negotiated settlement increase is passed through the State House, the State Senate, and is signed by the governor. Trump announced large tariffs on aluminum and steel imports this week, and it has not been well received, to say the least. Foreign nations are already considering retaliatory action, while the EU is preparing tariffs on politically sensitive U.S. products, like Harley-Davidson motorcycles, which are made in Wisconsin, Paul Ryan's home state, taxes on bourbon and whiskey, a product very made famous in Mitch McConnell's home state of Kentucky, and tariffs on Levi's jeans, which are made in the San Francisco area, the home of House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. Canada and Mexico, meanwhile, are considering retaliating by pulling out of NAFTA renegotiations. Trump has demonstrated little substantive knowledge on trade issues, and his comments on that issue make it clear that he doesn't know anything. He said that a trade war will be easy to win, even though most economists generally believe that there are no real winners in trade wars. He previously waffled on the issue on the days before the decision, and the announcement of the tariffs was so sudden that other agencies were not informed of it ahead of time, and the people who Trump sat around with while he was making the announcement were not cleared by the Secret Service. The tariffs have also triggered a corruption scandal, since Trump advisor Carl Icahn conveniently dumped over $30 million worth of steel-related stock the week before the announcement. Large tariffs on foreign goods, financial deregulation, more tax cuts for the wealthy, and a government run by corrupt oligarchs. This situation is increasingly sounding like the run-up to the Great Depression, and I don't think the Republicans like how that movie ends. It ends with Democrats controlling the presidency for 16 years. In election news, the special congressional election for Pennsylvania's 18th district is now a toss-up, a marked shift towards the Democrats in the district, which previously went for Trump by double digits. Democrat Conor Lamb has managed to outraise his Republican opponent by a significant margin, on the strength of a fired-up and angry Democratic base nationwide, and outside conservative groups have spent heavily in the district in order to keep the Republican candidate afloat. Republicans were originally planning on running on their tax scam law, but Republican groups have largely cut down on ads about their new tax law, as it has been proven to be largely ineffective in moving sentiment in the district. This new special election is seen as another potential bellwether for the midterms this November, as if the Republicans aren't safe in Pennsylvania's 18th district, they aren't safe anywhere. In Mississippi, right-wing Republican Senator Roger Wicker will now be facing a far-right Republican challenger in his primary, in the form of former state Senator Chris McDaniel. McDaniel previously challenged Mississippi's other Republican Senator, Thad Cochran, in 2014, having been narrowly defeated by Cochran in a runoff where Cochran depended heavily on the support of black Democrats to get him over the top. Trump has endorsed Wicker's re-election bid, though Senate Republicans are jittery about having another bloody primary battle and having another incompetent candidate running. Think the Roy Moore situation. Mississippi Democrats do indeed smell blood in the water, with State House Minority Leader David Beria filing to run for Senate in 2018 against Wicker or McDaniel. Normally, Republicans in the Deep South either face off against some random nobody or run unopposed, though Democrats are likely looking to Doug Jones' success in Alabama as encouragement. Democrats have their own primary battles as well, though. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee has been busy attacking Laura Moser, a Democratic candidate in Texas's 7th District. Moser is considered by the DCCC to be too liberal for the district, and they have responded to her candidacy by dumping opposition research on her that is filled with distortions of her record and past comments. Other Democrats have largely condemned the DCCC's move, including some of Moser's opponents. And Moser has managed to fundraise heavily off of being attacked by the Democratic establishment. The current White House is also dealing with other major corruption scandals. HUD Secretary Ben Carson recently spent extravagant amounts on office furniture, believe it or not, including a $31,000 dining room set and an $165,000 in lounge furniture, a total of nearly $200,000 worth of furniture. Carson also reportedly retaliated against a career government staffer who refused to approve the purchases, which violated federal ethics rules. Carson has also faced other significant issues in the recent past, with allegations of nepotism at Housing and Urban Development over handing his son a large government contract, as well as general complaints about his incompetence and lack of any relevant knowledge to the department. The Interior Department is also engaging in corrupt practices, with the department recently approving a new uranium mine in an area in Utah that was originally a national monument, before Trump illegally rolled back the monument designation. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke has faced significant ethical questions as well, with controversies over the awarding of government contracts and highly expensive personal travel once again. Zinke, his travel habits in particular, faced even more scrutiny recently after revelations that he attempted to have government pilots reassigned from firefighting duty in Nevada last year in order to fly him around. Clearly a great prioritizer. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt recently also announced that he will now be flying coach after revelations that he had been flying first class for security reasons, he said, which primarily consisted of the fact that people were mean to him. The White House is also dealing with even more staff turnover. White House Communications Director Hope Hicks will now be stepping down from her position. Hicks and Trump have had a relationship dating back to before the 2016 election, and was considered Trump's translator in the White House. Hicks recently testified before the Republican-controlled House Intelligence Committee with regard to the Russia scandal, and testified that she had told quote-unquote white lies for Trump. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster is also reportedly about to be forced out. And the front-runner replacement is former National Security Council staffer and current Ford Motor Company Vice President Stephen Biegun. McMaster's departure is considered to have been triggered by Trump's anger about McMaster publicly confirming Russian interference in the 2016 election. The Russia scandal has predictably continued to expand in spectacular fashion. U.S. intelligence has determined that voting-related systems in 7 states were compromised in 2016, including in the key battleground states of Arizona, Florida, and Wisconsin. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is still in denial of any past Russian interference and is ignoring potential future interference. National Security Administration Chief Michael Rogers testified recently that he has not received authorization from Trump or Defense Secretary Jim Mattis to combat Russian interference, and Rex Tillerson's State Department has not spent any of the more than $100 million appropriated to it for the purposes of combating Russian propaganda. Congressional Republicans have continued to obstruct the investigation, with Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee, led by Devin Nunes, revealed this week to have leaked the texts of Democratic Vice Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner. Senator Warner and the Republican Chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr, confronted Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, regarding the leak of Warner's texts and the House Intelligence Committee's efforts to obstruct the investigation. Paul Ryan, predictably, has taken no action against Nunes or any of the Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee. Robert Mueller's investigation has continued to expand and now encompasses the attempted removal of Jeff Sessions and possible foreign influence from the United Arab Emirates. Axios obtained a grand jury subpoena from Mueller that issued by Mueller's grand jury, and it regards all communication between the witness in question and Trump foreign policy aide Carter Page, now former White House Communications Director Hope Hicks, former Trump bodyguard Kurt Schiller, Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, former Trump aide Rick Gates, Trump advisor Roger Stone, former White House chief strategist Stephen Bannon, and former Trump campaign managers Corey Lewandowski and Paul Manafort. All of these people can now be considered to be in the crosshairs of Mueller's investigation. Jeff Sessions recently was caught having dinner with Rod Rosenstein and the DOJ Solicitor General, leading to speculation that he and Rosenstein are plotting something together against Trump, or at least to defend Mueller. Foreign influence has been a major issue with this current administration, and it's not just from the Russians. Trump's son-in-law and White House advisor, Jared Kushner, has faced mounting questions about his activities in the White House, having received large loans from various businesses shortly after meeting with the representatives at the White House. Kushner has also apparently been requesting a highly unusual amount of top-secret information when he still had clearance. In a similar vein, the White House backed efforts by other Arab countries against the U.S. ally of Qatar after Kushner failed to receive a loan from Qatari officials. Officials from Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Mexico, and China have reportedly discussed how to manipulate Kushner through his massive financial entanglements. It is becoming increasingly clear that this administration is not making any efforts to work in America's interest. Well, that does it for this week's news. On another note, for at least the next 2 weeks, I will be unable to film my regular news segments from this desk, as I will be out of town. I will post whatever videos I can during that time, though. Thank you for watching the program. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting content.